Hello, guys.
Hi.
This is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery podcast.
I'm Kara.
I'm Megan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move the microphone a little bit.
Just scooch it on over.
Hi.
Hey.
Kara's still pregnant.
Oh my gosh, guys. She's just getting bigger and bigger in there.
Which is a good thing.
Just squishy little cheeks.
I was going to show you, if you're on the YouTube video, so you can see my Trash Witch hoodie that I've gone on.
It's so fun.
I don't think we had her on a sweatshirt
This time last year.
I made it bigger on this hoodie, number one, than the original one. And then I also put it on a crew neck sweatshirt, which I don't think we had before.
Yeah.
But then I also made this one.
It's so fun.
It just says, "We love you so much."
It's so cute.
That little Kara and Megan cartoon.
I love it. So much.
That's available out there if you're wanting it. It makes me happy too. You love it so much?
So much.
So much.
I'm going to have to get one.
Okay. So we're here with
We're here.
a Kara episode.
Yeah.
But
We got lots of
there's things to say.
pieces.
Okay, first off, this episode will come out on the 16th. So this will kind of be old news, but
Right.
we just learned about it, so we're telling you. So we all learned last week, and we talked about it in the Facebook group and on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. There's been so many posts about it.
Yes, that the boy in the box had been identified. But all they told us then was like, we have identified him. And we're going to have a press conference to tell you who he is. And then we had to wait.
Why did they do this to us?
They had the press conference today, December 8th. So just to give you all an update on that boy in the box case, which I covered forever ago.
It was a hot minute ago.
Yeah. I think it was last fall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last year, 2021
We've been
fall.
doing this for forever.
We've did it for a long time.
Which is so fun, though. It really doesn't feel like it.
No, it's been great.
It's been grand, Megan.
Okay, so more than 6 decades after the badly bruised body of a young boy was found in a cardboard box in Philadelphia. And if you guys have not listened to that episode, you should.
Go listen to it.
It's one of the, it made me cry.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then there's some of these that get me, and this one really got me.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But now he finally has a name. And if you guys remember when we did that update a few weeks ago, and it was like, there was an arrest in the Delphi case, and they had identified the Lady of the Dunes. And I said, okay, now all we need is let's identify the boy in the box.
Yeah.
And then
here we go.
The universe answered.
And so here you go, Megan.
It's pretty great.
Yep.
So his name is Joseph Augustus Zarelli, and he was newly 4 years old. He likely died from blunt force trauma. So they identified him using genealogical DNA, which I'm just like, this is the greatest thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
I know people are like, I don't want to be in the system. No, but it might be so helpful.
I can't. Yeah. But it's great. It's solving so many cold cases.
Yeah.
But they basically they tracked it down. They were able to figure out who his mom was. They found his birth certificate, and then they were able to figure out who his dad was. Both of his parents are dead.
So we're not going to get answers that way.
But the police did say, let me find it. Investigators have their suspicions as to who may be responsible for Zarelli's death. The case remains an active criminal investigation.
That's wild.
I mean,
many years later.
A missing persons report was never filed. He's 4 years old. Of course they have their suspicions.
Right.
This is all coming from the Philadelphia Inquirer, by the way. And they also are not releasing where Zarelli's living family members live.
Right.
Out of respect for them and their parents.
Yeah, they don't want them to be harassed.
And, of course, we should all let them do this investigation.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened. We don't know the circumstances.
We don't need to be creeping on people and reaching out to them.
Right. But what we do know is it's just something really horrible.
Yeah.
This is a quote. In his very short life, it was apparent that this child experienced horrors that no one should ever be subjected to. When people think about the boy in the box, a profound sadness is felt, not just because the child was murdered, but because his entire identity and his rightful claim to his own existence was taken away.
So sad.
But now he at least has that back.
And isn't this the one where the town came together and gave him that headstone and stuff, and now they can put his name on it.
Mhm. They had left a blank spot on the headstone to put his name. And so now they're doing that. Joseph Augustus Zarelli.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm happy that they've identified.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be interested to see what they find out about who was responsible.
Yeah.
And who knew what. He had siblings, but I don't know that they ever knew about him.
Right.
Or that they ever knew what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they were told a false story about what happened to him. I don't know.
But exactly.
Who knows? So we'll find out. It's also possible, who knows? We know that his biological parents are dead, but maybe he was in the care of someone else or foster family or adoptive parent. Like that, we don't know. So again, let's be real careful about what we speculate about right now.
Yeah, true. Okay. Let's not forget to do shout outs at the end of this.
Oh yeah, we're going to do some Patreon shout outs at the end of this episode.
Okay. I just stumbled upon this when I was researching a couple other things, and it is the remains. I've got that wrong. It's 1960s, not 1960s.
That's okay.
Remains of a man missing since the 1960s, like early 1960s, were found in his own home's basement in the concrete walls.
When were they found?
Oh, years later. Lots of years later.
I mean, were they found like recently? Like in the 2020s?
Like close to, I think it's like 18 maybe.
Oh, wow.
Or no, 2012. And then he finally got a proper burial.
Wow.
But yeah. Oh, yeah. Found by his son and grandsons.
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So George Carroll was an Army corporal.
I don't know.
Who?
It's not me.
Who? Okay. Was an Army corporal in the Korean War. He was born in the early 30s. He married Dorothy. In 1952, they had their first kid, a girl named Patricia. And then they had another daughter, Jean, and then they had 2 boys.
For 4 kids total?
4 kids total. So in 1955, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy us a small cottage in a little isolated wooded area. We're going to call it Olive Street in Lake Grove, Long Island. And we're all going to move there. Family's like, great. Thanks, Dad. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So they do it. And around this time, the kids are 11, 9, 6, and 2. It's around... So some of the articles said 1961. Some said 1963.
Early 1960s.
That's what, yeah. He vanishes. And the kids were like, oh, that's weird. Where'd Dad go? So, Mom said he just left and didn't come back. Don't ask. It's not important. So, I mean, your kids, when's Daddy coming home? Where's Dad at? Have you heard from him?
Don't worry about it.
Can you imagine, like, the older,
worry about
like,
it.
the 11 and 9-year-old being like, have you heard from Dad? Like, can you just, like, has my dad called today? Have you heard, like, have you seen anything about it? Like, just Mom being like, just stop talking about it. Let's not talk about it. He went for cigarettes and didn't come home. So.
I'm going to reserve my comments till you're finished, but
yeah.
I have a lot.
Yes. So, others in the family and friends of the family didn't really talk to the kids much about this when they were young. But as they got older, they were like, listen, there's some speculations that he may or may not be in the basement.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So.
There were people who kind of knew?
Yeah. Yeah. But they were like, but it's just hearsay, so we didn't want to, like, ruffle feathers or anything.
Ruffle feathers, people.
Yeah.
Ruffle the feathers. Tear the feathers off. Rip the feathers away.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You didn't want to ruffle feathers?
Yeah.
He was missing.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be better if you all just grew up thinking
He
that
went for
your dad
cigarettes.
abandoned you because he didn't love you.
Yeah.
And that's what we thought would be the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're okay with that, right? It's
fine.
already done damage to your whole psyche.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
It's fine.
But we didn't want to have that uncomfortable conversation.
Right.
That would be really hard on us.
We just couldn't handle it ourselves. Yeah. So Michael, who was really young, who was one of the younger ones. I think he was 2 when Dad went missing. He owns the property. He took over and everything. So he's like, huh, that's weird because my kids say they see ghosts and stuff. So I'm gonna I don't know, for shits and giggles, I'm gonna go talk to a psychic and see what happens. And the psychic's like, yeah, your dad died of blunt force trauma and he's in your basement.
Oh my God.
And he's like, huh? I've heard that from other people, but what? So that also makes me wonder, this is a small town. What if the psychic had heard that in the past?
I don't know.
Like she grew up with those family members and was like, I've been waiting to tell you this.
As much as I fully believe that people can have like a sixth sense and can have that psychic ability for whatever reason, like I totally believe in it.
Right.
And then every time it pops up in a story, I am so skeptical.
Right.
So I don't really know how to reconcile that.
Yes, exactly.
Other than like, yep, fully believe in it. And also every time this comes up, I'm like,
no, there's something behind that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something weird here. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, like some of the articles have like 61, some have 63, and here's why. So George, the deceased father or missing father, was still living at the residence on Olive Street address on June 20th, 1963, because he testified in negligence lawsuits naming him and his wife Dorothy as defendants, according to court papers that Fox News uncovered. And he was accused of putting up a children's swing set that toppled over July 62, injuring a 4-year-old child, which was his niece. So then he owed, I guess, his sister-in-law or his sister. No, it was Dorothy's sister. So he owed his sister-in-law $4,700. And
okay, so his wife's sister's kid was playing on the swing.
Got hurt because the swing set wasn't properly.
And then sued him.
Okay, do you remember those metal swing sets that just had like the A-frames and it was a pole and the swings? Those things would fly back and you'd get going so fast.
We would purposefully try to swing high enough
to get it off the ground.
And then it would terrify you and you'd stop.
Yeah. You'd feel that thump and you'd be like, yeah, I did it.
Now listen, by we, I mean kids my age, not actually me because terrified of basically everything.
Yeah.
But I saw it done.
It was the days of the metal slide and the weird like spider web.
It was the 80s. It was
like
lawless.
This. Yeah.
So, okay, so her kid, his niece, gets hurt on the swing that he put up.
Yep.
And so she sues him for negligence. Sues both of them.
Yeah.
And
in
then
1962.
Won,
yeah.
So he was supposed to pay her.
Right. Okay. So the son, he was like, listen, I wasn't aware of this lawsuit, but I really don't think this had anything to do with Dad going missing. Like, why would my aunt and uncle come after my dad because of this lawsuit? Like, why would they kill him and put him in the basement? He said, and also my aunt and my mom remained friends years after that. It's not like my mom's sister's suing her and now they don't talk anymore. He was like, it just was what it was. And I'm guessing that they just wanted like the medical stuff paid for and whatever.
But man, still, what an uncomfortable situation to be in with your sister.
Exactly. So for years, his kids spent forever trying to figure out. Like I said, they consulted psychics, ghost hunters, and...
Well, why didn't somebody just go dig up the basement?
Yeah. So he finally was like, okay.
I would not have been able to stand it.
Yes.
I wouldn't have waited years. I would have been like, what? Let's dig up the basement. I got to know.
Yeah. And he was like, you know, it's not, the basement thing isn't something, it didn't come up overnight. It's something that has been talked about for years. This is something as we grew up, you know, you heard multiple stories about. Okay, then somebody, as they're growing up, go dig his body up.
How do you sleep in that house being like, my dad's dead body might be buried in the basement?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so Michael and his two adult sons, Christopher and Michael Jr., decide to excavate the basement in search of the remains. But it started to get really dangerous, so they had to stop for a little bit. And there are a couple articles that said Michael had a stroke, so the boys continued it.
I guess well, as long as the mother's still alive, maybe they didn't want to press anything too hard. Everybody's like, let's just let
Let's just let this lie.
Oh, God, we don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Fluff them up.
Ruffle
Yeah.
all the feathers.
Yeah. So they hired a company with ground penetrating radar, and they were like, oh, "Here's where you dig." We see some things.
They do see some things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so you just want to dig them through
this is where you should dig.
just in this area right here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So they do. And about 6 to 8 feet down below in the basement, they find a skeleton with blunt force trauma.
Can you imagine? You have grown up and lived your whole life thinking our dad abandoned us.
And he's literally been living in the house with you.
I guess the alternative is, if you're hearing these stories, is either our dad abandoned us.
Dead.
Awful. Dead. I did it again, didn't I?
A year later. Let's go see how
I think it's been like 2 years later.
Dead.
Dead. Oh, that's a great callback if you've been listening forever.
I love it.
Okay. Our dad abandoned us. Awful.
Yeah.
Or
For cigarettes.
our mother
Killed my dad.
and lied to us.
Uh-huh.
Also awful.
Or my aunt and uncle killed my dad.
But our mother knew about it, right?
And let them put him in the basement. Because nobody's going to find him there.
What? Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Michael was like, I'm not surprised by this discovery, and I really am hoping this is my dad so I can give him the proper, like, war burial that he deserved.
What an insane, it's not your dad. It's somebody else.
No, that's what where did this person come from?
Oh, my God.
Who are you?
Okay.
He said, I want him to be a soldier. I want him to get what he needs. He said, now that we know he didn't abandon us, it makes us all feel better. It was what I expected. He said,
It's contagious.
Woo! He said his family's taking it very hard. He said, when fiction becomes nonfiction, it changes the way you see the world. I mean, of course it does. You're sitting here thinking your mom's somehow involved because it's in your house that your family lived in.
Yeah, it's like you're trading one trauma for another
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, so New York authorities were like, we're now treating this as a homicide. An autopsy did determine that it was his dad and that the skull was in fact fractured by blunt force trauma. But they were like, that doesn't mean that's the cause of death. That could mean that it happened after he was buried and maybe some construction was done to the house. I don't know, or digging and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so he goes on to tell them, this is almost a perfect crime, but I don't think I was supposed to find him. Thanks, psychic. He said he has identified someone who might have had something to do with Dad's death. The person's name is Richard Duress. Mom married him. He said, I'm trying to avoid pointing the finger at this point. And then Kevin Byer, I think, is the commander or was the commander of the Suffolk Police's homicide squad. They confirmed that Duress was someone they wanted to talk to. So he said, the son said, I know that guy came into our lives down the road and it wasn't a good deal. On Facebook, Duress identified himself as a long-distance trucker who was injured on the job in 2012 and couldn't work. And then police records show that he was a licensed ham radio operator, licensed commercial pilot, and licensed gun owner in Florida. And his last Facebook post was 2012. He had been married to a woman who obtained a temporary order of protection against him in 2000 before they got divorced too. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the court orders that forbid him from having any contact with this woman. and to surrender any guns he had in his possession. So it was a pretty serious domestic violence order.
Right, right.
But he unfortunately died in Laredo, Texas at 77. So they couldn't really be like, hey, bud, we got to talk.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess their mom is dead.
Mm-hmm. So Dorothy married Duress in 1980, or they divorced in 1983.
Okay.
So he said that the mom had divorced him because she thought he was cheating on her.
Mm-hmm.
But he also said the mom, who died of cancer 20 years ago, may have known what happened. He says she doesn't come off smelling like a rose.
No, I mean,
exactly.
He's buried in your basement.
Right.
And you didn't seem to even look for him when he disappeared. So,
right.
I mean, it would be hard for me to believe, too, that she wasn't involved.
And she said as she got older, don't ask me these questions. It's not important anymore.
You let your kids grow up thinking their dad left them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we don't know what their marriage was like, and if this could have been any kind of self-defense thing either, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like any of that's been coming up. And given the history or what goes on to happen with the guy she married, he does seem to have a pattern.
Mm-hmm. So he said that
allegedly, opinion. Those are opinions.
All on us.
And what do we know?
Who knows? Who knows? We have the IQ of Einstein. But he said that he really begged her on her deathbed to just tell him. He was like, this doesn't change how I feel about you. You're still my mom. But please just tell me what happened.
Yeah.
I've got to know.
And she wouldn't?
Mm-mm. Man. No.
And it may be,
but listen,
maybe she doesn't.
She never reported him missing.
Well, yeah. That's what I mean. She didn't seem to care when he went missing.
Yeah.
I guess I just assumed she didn't report him missing.
Yeah. Yeah. But they said, we really don't know who killed Dad. And he was like, this is still, considered an open case. You can contact the Suffolk County Homicide Squad at 631-852-6392. And Michael's sister, Jean, said, nobody will ever know what really happened. She said, we've had the gift of finding our father before we leave the earth. Prayed to the Lord every day to answer my prayer on where he could be. I'm happy that it's over. It's another chapter in our lives. So they were finally able to give him a proper burial after all of the DNA evidence and all of that stuff was done. They had more than 50 people there. And they had a little bagpipe rendition of Amazing Grace. And then a fellow Korean war vet had a photo of him riding in a military vehicle with Marilyn Monroe.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then they gave the family an American flag. He was cremated and placed in a little wooden box. And he was finally laid to rest at Calverton National Cemetery, October 25th, 2019.
Man.
Isn't that wild?
Well, I wonder, was she there when he was murdered?
Right.
Was it planned?
Mm-hmm.
Was it not planned? Was it just that he and the other guy got in a fight? Was it self-defense?
Right.
Was there some history of abuse? Or was she having an affair and wanted
him gone? Or did he come home to find the affair?
Mm-hmm.
And boyfriend...
Right. Was it an accident?
Yeah.
Or was it not an accident?
Yeah.
And then was she involved in the burial, or did the guy just do it?
Right.
I mean, you dug
in the house
6 to 8 feet.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Did the kids not question what was going on downstairs? Or were they all... I mean, the youngest was 2.
Oh, gosh. Maybe they're all asleep. If she's
playing on that swing set
in the middle of the night. Oh, my God. I mean, what a terrible... And then I'm like, if people had speculated about this for years, I just want to know why, what got them speculating.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that would tell us something, but
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, what stories did you all hear to make you say that?
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And it's so sad
I know.
to think that these kids grew up thinking their dad left them.
He's literally right
And
there.
he's right there in the basement the whole time.
Yeah.
Because no matter what the issues are between a husband and wife,
Right.
like, you know, you pretty much always like, these are your kids.
Right.
And no matter what the marriage problems are, you know your kids aren't a part of that.
Exactly.
And you would never,
include the kids in that drama. Yeah.
Oh, it's sad.
Oh, God.
Gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am glad they found him. And I'm glad they finally learned he didn't. But now the whole thing is that you have to, whatever anger or abandonment issues or whatever that you've got,
You now have a whole different slew.
that's going to be undone. Yeah, right. That's going to be undone, sort of. But
Yep.
then you've got, but on the other hand, my mother might have murdered my dad.
Yeah.
Or at least somehow been involved.
And this horrible
And
man that came into our
lied to me.
lives.
Yeah. And even on her deathbed, she wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's just too awful.
I guess. Because maybe she did see it happen. Maybe she held on to that for forever.
But like, part of me, I was just about to say, so maybe she did feel guilty because she could see how awful it was and she just couldn't admit it. But that's still so self-serving. You're dying.
Yeah, exactly.
The one last act of love you could have had for your kids is to tell them what you know.
Mhm.
Because who cares? You're dying.
Right. Nobody's going to arrest you.
But you could have done this for them.
Mhm.
And yes, it means that now they know this awful thing you did. But like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
also, you help them so much.
Yeah.
You hurt yourself, but you help them. And you're their mom.
Exactly.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
You should put them first.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate it.
I hate it so much. I know.
Okay.
But like, it sounds like a smaller community. Why wouldn't, I don't know. I mean, but it was also during that time that you don't speak of your neighbor's issues.
Yeah. You just keep your mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
But he disappeared. And we all thought maybe he was in the basement. What do you mean?
Nobody saw him go out for cigarettes.
Okay.
And that's that, guys.
Well, yeah. Oh, how terrible.
So bad.
Okay, now Patreon shout outs.
gosh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out real quick which one would be the harder names and try to give them to you, but I can't.
No, because they're all over the place.
I can't figure it out that quickly. All right. Do you want to start?
Sure. Alexis Dunmore.
Caitlin Totkus-Berry.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa Malcolm.
Orla Brady.
Caitlin Aitman. Is there an I there? Or
E-I-T.
Aitman? Eichmann? Itman. Aitman.
Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Emily. It's just Haake. It shouldn't be that hard.
No.
Hake.
Hey, Emily. Nope.
She told us in the Facebook group. It's not Sienna.
Oh.
It's Shauna.
Shauna.
Penn.
Like
Sean Penn.
Shauna.
But not. Yeah.
Man,
Shauna Penn.
how quickly I
When I
forget
sent
things.
her stickers, I put like Shauna, not Sienna.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl Graham.
Amanda Stanley. What an easy one.
Shannon Hudson. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Danielle Lowe.
Amber Bauer.
Janet Rodriguez.
Julie Vogel.
Brittany Hughes.
Marilee O.
Samantha Melbo.
Meredith Ake.
Ashley Ward.
Jacqueline Spence.
I feel like I'm on KET.
I mean, these are our donors. It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Overall, that was an easier list
was
of
a little
names
bit
that I
easier.
think we've
Yep.
had in a while.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
good job to all your parents.
Thanks for signing up with a good last name.
I do enjoy those of you who are like, I basically only joined to hear how
Just
you
to
say my
hear
name.
it, and then I back out. It's so fun.
Okay. Thank you all so much for being a part of our Patreon.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone for listening to the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
We
yeah.
love you so much. Oh,
So-
no. We love you.
so much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.